Small snippet. All right. Okay. All right. Thokozani, everybody. Thokozani, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. Right? And that you can see the slides on the screen. Thokozani, everybody. Please just let's do a quick sound check. Make sure that you can all hear me. Just a quick thumbs up, letting me know that you can hear me, that it's audible, that you guys can see the slide that's in front of you. Thokozani, everybody. Thokozani. Perfect. All right, cool. All right, everybody. I hope you guys are all well. Hope you guys are all splendid, and you're having a beautiful and fruitful start to the week. So I am here today because I wanted to give you guys Naledi, I'm not sure why you can't hear me, because everybody in the comments says that they can hear me, so I'm not sure why you can't hear me. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown. It's not the full talk that I gave on Sunday. So as I said, I have a subscription group on my page where we have these classes on African spirituality, and this weekend on Sunday was the first class that I had. With those that have subscribed. It was really great. I enjoyed it. It was fantastic. So I'm obviously not going to be able to give you the entire talk or the presentation that I gave to them, right? And obviously those of them that have missed it are going to be able to access that recording. But what I will do for you guys, because I want you to understand, what I will do for you guys is I'm going to give you one of the most important slides, right? Because overall, this was the content that I covered: the spiritual contribution of spirituality towards relationship, myths and misconceptions, barriers and inhibitions to relationships, and what I also covered was the use of imiti and herbs in relationships. So what I will do in just for 10 minutes, nothing long, is I'm not going to be long. I'm going to be about 10 minutes tops. At which point I will then just be answering questions, and it becomes a normal live, just so that you guys understand. So this is what you would have missed out on, and this is the kind of content, and this is what we talk about in those classes. Again, with subscribe, you can either do it through YouTube or you can do it through Facebook. I have no idea which one chows more data than the other, but I would assume it would be YouTube, right? So when it comes to myths and misconceptions, the reason why I feel so strongly about them is that they really do cripple us. And the biggest problem I have with these myths is that they enable unhealthy behavior, lack of self-awareness, and personal development. And the reason why, guys, is that contrary to what you might think, African spirituality, or the spiritual contribution, right? If I was to put it at a percentage, I would put it at 10 to 15%. Physical connection and physical attributes are more contribute more, and also emotional and mental maturity for relationships, and self-awareness and personal development, those contribute a lot more. And the problem with these myths and misconceptions is that they do two things. They cause us to not develop ourselves and hold ourselves accountable for our behavior. But the second problem I have with myths and misconceptions is that it further drives away people from African spirituality, right? And instead of being this beautiful thing that liberates, that improves the lives of, you actually become you lean on African spirituality as a crutch. You use it to scapegoat, right? You use it to scapegoat. And I'm going to take you through. There's actually more. So what I've done, this is So there are about 20 to 25 slides. So yeah, 20 odd slides. It's actually more of these slides, but this is what we broke down this week, and I actually break it down even further on the slide. But again, I'm just going to give you this little snippet here. All right. My ancestors want me to be single or have a jealous Josie is possibly the biggest load of nonsense, right, that you have ever heard. There is no such thing as a jealous Josie that is so jealous, that is so infatuated with you that they cannot share you with anybody else. Your ancestors, people that say that your ancestors don't want you to have someone, that's a lie. That's incorrect. Right? It ties in actually with number 3, where people say I'm spiritually gifted, or ngizale ngembethe, therefore I will struggle with love and relationships. No, absolutely not. Let me explain. Right? When you form a relationship with someone, there is a physical, spiritual, and mental and emotional connection, right? Because there's 3 parts to you. Okay? In the event that when yourself, you are not one nedlozi that you are born with, either uzale wembethe, either you are a twin. If you have not resolved that inner spiritual conflict, tension, and turmoil, what do you think is going to be the spiritual foundation of your relationship? It's going to be in tatters. It's going to be very shaky. The relationships fall apart for people who are spiritually gifted, not because of idlozi, but because of the lack of a resolved internal spiritual turmoil or tension. Right? You are wanting to form a spiritual connection and a bond with that man, but the man you are born with, you have not resolved that. Right? And yes, idlozi like dedele, they say, okay, it's fine, go find love and try it your way. And then you realize that, okay, fine, this relationship is lasting. That's why so many relationships, they last 3 months or 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, right? Because at some point, the lack of a spiritual foundation within yourself is going to cause the failure of a relationship. And like always runs with like. If when you're spiritually gifted, you are going to attract partners that are also spiritually gifted. Now, you have 2 individuals who both of them have not resolved their internal, right, spiritual turmoil. They have not cleansed and accepted and welcomed the person that they are born with, and now they're trying to make it happen. Now they're trying to have a nice relationship. It's not going to work, guys. Right? It's not going to work. Okay? Yikho nje, I always say to people, uma uzale wembethe, fix that first. It's a simple process of one animal. Bantu abadala, we know that usiyabonga wembethe idlozi lithize sithi siyabonga. Thank you very much for that blessing. We welcome and accept that into this family. Please open things for him. May they resolved, and may he be successful and abundant. Right? Bangithela ngenyongo, or ngiyageza with igazi nyongo mswane, right? Blood, bile, partially digested grass from the stomach, and then you're fine. If I need to take the name of that person, we go through the ritual of ukunga igama. Right? Do you see? So at what point is it idlozi chasing away that person? Idlozi doesn't chase away that person unless lo muntu is toxic. Okay, let me rephrase it. If mina ngisebenza ebukhanyeni, all right, or the kind of idlozi I works in light, but the man that I'm with works in dark, then idlozi will not necessarily chase him away, but it is a spiritual allergic reaction. It is a spiritual rejection of that, right? Because the spiritual connection doesn't form, because you are in the light and they are in the dark. Yabo? So yekani land, or leave this narrative of saying idlozi chased away my partner. No, ukudlala ngedlozi. Yekani ukudlala ngedlozi. Idlozi ayikho into ewukukhuluza my dlozi is jealous. There are some people, right? And this is I think you missed it on the other page, right? And I want you guys to remember this. It is possible to have everything right spiritually have nothing wrong, and to still be single. Let me repeat that. It is possible to have everything right, to have nothing wrong, and still be single. Yingoba. The people that do that is because they don't want to be honest with what's going on here and in here. You lack emotional maturity and you lack accountability for your behaviors and actions. Right? It is possible to be single and it's possible to have everything right. Because you guys must remember, right? I think people come to African spirituality looking to fix all problems. That's not what I do here. What I do is I put you in the best possible position spiritually for success, so that you are not fighting a battle on two fronts. There's difficulties of umhlaba and difficulties of umjoy, right? Someone says my network is freezing. Please let me know if anyone else is experiencing the same thing, so that I can do my level best to correct it or repeat myself, right? So, okay, and then so that's what I'm saying, Bagwet. And then finally, I'm not allowed to leave my home and get married. This is partially true and partially not true. There are some people who, it's not that Idlozi doesn't allow you to leave home. Idlozi says, how? If you leave, who's going to remain with the family surname? Who's going to keep the family unit together? Who's going to fulfill the roles and responsibilities of the leader of the home? This typically happens in cases where you have 4 girls, or 6 girls, or 5 girls, or you have girl, boy, boy, girl, or girl, boy, girl. Yabo? Because you have 4 girls, inevitably one of you is going to have to remain at home. Sometimes what happens is one remains at home, and then that one will have a son. When the son is old enough to fulfill the responsibilities of a leader, then Idlos is like, we have a leader now, and then that frees her up to go and get married. So sometimes you find that a woman finds love and happiness at 45, when her son is old enough to be to fulfill his responsibilities as the head of the household. Okay? Then you get instances where it's girl, boy, girl. That video I posted on the order in which you are born will affect the probability of you getting married. And that is because you are born as a girl in the position of Inkosana, when your brother needs to be spiritually matured and elevated to sit in that role and fulfill that role, and then that frees you up to go get married and leave home. Right? I'm not sure. Some people can hear me, some people can't hear me, some people have network issues, some people are not having network issues. I have no idea what's going on. But just let me know, guys. Let me know in the comments. Right? Then, okay, I was born out of wedlock. I think that's not necessarily. I mean, some people believe that if you're born out of wedlock, therefore the probabilities of, right? It's something. It's a curse that needs to be cleansed, guys. Being born out of wedlock is not a curse that needs to be cleansed. There's nothing to cleanse with being born out of wedlock. The only thing you correct with being born out of wedlock is if the child has incorrectly taken the father's surname. That is it. Yiloko pel. Right? I am a twin and need special rituals to get married. First of all, if you guys marry a twin, there's nothing special for you guys to do. Absolutely nothing special. You marry a twin just like any other person. This thing of, okay, if I marry one twin, then the other twin must also be involved in the marriage procedure, right? Or if I marry, no, there's nothing to do if you marry a twin. However, and this is my final point, if you are a twin, and that twin has passed away, and you have not cleansed that other twin that passed away, and you haven't cleansed, what will happen is now Usiabonga is trying to date this girl, but I'm forming a connection with you and your other half, which is in the ancestral realm. So manje, I'm here, but I'm also being pulled that side. You see? So manje, that conflict, that tension, that turmoil, it overwhelms me. And I end up leaving the relationship. You see? Yikonje, I say to people who are twins, gezani and correct that issue of the twin. And that will essentially allow your twin to operate independently in the ancestral realm and you to operate independently in the living realm. So it's just you and I making a connection. People who are twins, where the twin has passed away, the only reason why you are struggling with the relationship is because you are spiritually overwhelming the person. Because there's one person here, but there's also another person there. Yabo. It's the same with an abortion and a miscarriage, right? Okay? It's the same with an abortion and a miscarriage. Okay? And this is why I say to people, it's so important to cleanse after an abortion or miscarriage. Even if you find out 40 years later that actually Uma had a miscarriage before I was born, Ubaba no ma had an abortion before I was born. Yingoba, you will be born with isithunzi, the spiritual remnants of that particular individual. All right? Now, being born with isithunzi or the spiritual remnants of that particular individual means ukuthi manje, that, right? So manje, what will happen is kufana nokuzala wembede. Similar. Not completely, but it's similar to ukuzala wembede. So as much as I independently and autonomously choose to love this person, this other sibling, my brother that I was born with, right? Because it's an abortion or miscarriage that was uncleansed. Naye, he wants someone else. Ngoba ufuna ukuphila. He has not been cleansed. He has not been clothed in name. So now he's also trying to live. Now imagine if you're born after 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 miscarriages and abortions, and they're all uncleansed. You love this person, but you're being dragged left, right, and center, left, right, and center. And you have all these urges and these desires. You're like, how? But where are they coming from? Yabo? Just 2 seconds, guys. Just 2 seconds. I just want to get my phone on charge quickly. Just 2 seconds. Okay. All right. So that's what I was saying, by the way. So basically, we then went into much more detail on the spiritual inhibitions. How do you actually overcome those things? We discussed a whole host of other things. So that is the kind of content that you guys are going to be getting. Obviously, it's a lot more in depth. And what I'm doing for the first, I'd say, 3 months is I'm just giving very basic, as you saw there, guys, that's very, very basic entry level stuff. I'm starting you guys on the journey, right? After 3 months, it's going to get a lot more deeper. And with so how it'll work is with each of those 2 classes, I'm going to give you case studies where we actually have people that are coming. We actually have the details of those people that are actually where this is actually happening to them. And I think it's very sad. I think in African spirituality and African healing, we don't have enough case studies. And it's very sad that we don't have case studies because case studies are everything. You know, I remember at Wits when I was doing my honors, you know, the masters or MH students, these are people that are specializing in pathology. Every second Tuesday would be case study. And I found it very fascinating. And they have seminars where it's just case studies. But Tina Isabella, we don't do that. We don't have these case studies where we share results and we say, okay, fine. Umuntu ebegula with the cancer, but then here are the cancer results before, here are the cancer results after. You know, we don't do that anymore. We don't do that. And I find that quite sad. So I'm trying to foster that culture. All right, let us take some questions over here. Okay, I just need to make one quick. Hold on, I just want to check my Wi-Fi quickly. I'm getting some complaints that there's Wi-Fi issues. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Let's just take the questions from the top. But I'm using my laptop, so I should probably switch over to my phone. Let's just take some. So now it's just like a normal live, guys. Any and all questions. Um, is it possible to have a gift from your father's side and haven't recognized you because it seems like I'm having this kind of problem in my side? Yes, it is possible to have a gift from your father's side, even though you're having your mother's surname. All right, something that I've explained, something that I actually explained in that particular live, in that class. Sorry, right? But your mother's side, if you're in the event your father's side of the family wants absolutely nothing to do with you, then your mother's side can do lom sebenzi for you, right? They can simply burn in purple and they can and acknowledge the fact that, as in, bantu abadala nabakamkhize, we're aware that siyabonga isiphiwo sakhe comes from abakaduma, but abakaduma are not willing to actually participate. They're not willing to do everything. Abekho empilweni yomntwana, but we ask that we do lo msebenzi on behalf of our grandchild, right? And then bakuthele ngenyongo, faka isiphandla on your left, msebenzi done. The ritual required can be done from your mother's side of the family, even though you have an ancestral spirit from your father's side, especially in the event because you are doing it out of a necessity, right? And you just explain that to Ethos. Whenever you want to break protocol, just motivate it when it comes to Ethos. You got to motivate. What happens when you don't know what things fall apart home-wise and they never showed you any of these traditional side because they diverted to Christianity from the traditional side? Oh, very, very loaded question. Very, very loaded question. How do I even answer this? What I would do is I would get as much as I can the family history. I'm trying to think now. Is it on my YouTube channel? There's a video. I would collect as much family history as I can, right? And then once I know, I would find out how my mother and father got married, who made us become such a staunch Christian family, and why did we leave the traditional side of things, right? And then what I would also do is I would find one other family member who's willing to do this with me. And again, it depends, you know. Are you at home? Do you have your own? Do you have your own house? Because if you have your own space that you're not renting, then I can explain to you what you can put it in yourself. Again, you're breaking protocol, but you can because they too, your family members, the elders, have absconded, or rather, they've rejected their responsibility, right? So I would collect as much information as I can. Then I would book a session with myself. I wouldn't rush to book a session with myself. I would first collect the information, collect the family history as best as my ability, and do it. You're gonna have to do it yourself. Unfortunately, that's the reality. Okay. I'm a twin. I've been with my partner for 23 years. Numzam, okay. So absolutely happy to hear that you are a twin and that you've been with your partners for 23 years. Can you share a bit more? All right, I hear and understand you well, Siyabonga. So when you do the rituals, do you have to wear those beads that you were dreaming about in the same ritual, or do you do something else? So for those of you that are dreaming about beads and stuff like that, go and buy those beads. Right? So let's say you have a dream where you're wearing whites and red beads on your wrist. Go and buy those beads. Put those beads on your wrist. Upash and say, Banda Batala, here are the beads that you've shown me. Thank you very much. And put them on your arm and just leave it. Inkulumo of those beads will be revealed over time. This isn't necessarily saying that you have to wear those beads at the same time whilst you're doing the ritual. You can just do the ritual on your own, on its own. What can I use for cleansing and miscarriage? Okay, guys, there's a video on my. In fact, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna post it right now on my. I'm gonna repost it actually on my Facebook page. I'm gonna repost. I'm gonna take it off my TikTok. I'm gonna repost the video explaining how to cleanse an abortion or a miscarriage. It's very straightforward. It's very simple, not complicated at all. I wanna I want to post it because I get quite a lot of questions. So I'm going to post it and then I'll probably pin it. Here we go. Beautiful day. I want to quickly talk about this. Let's say video. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post it right now whilst I'm speaking to you guys, and then you can just go to that and it explains exactly what to do. Right? What I can tell you is that it's 2 goats, right? 1 to cleanse, 1 to name, and 1 to clothe. If you can't afford 2 right now, that's also fine. You can just start with the 1 to just cleanse. So a lot of people say, oh, but you can use iwasho and you can use a chicken, right? The problem with those things is that they're temporary solutions. They're not full-time solutions. So I'm not saying you can't use them. I'm saying at some point the effect or the efficacy is going to run out, right? And then you get other people that say, look, if you can just cleanse with river, if you have, again, my opinion, if you have cleansed with only river water, cleansed with the chicken, cleansed with iwasho, slaughtered a goat but didn't use any parts of that goat, then you haven't really cleansed. That's it, right? That's okay. I usually get bored in my relationships over time. After 3 years, the person gets bored with me, or I see problems with them, like they're gifted or mentally not well. How do I fix this? Or am I the problem? So, you see, when you say that, I see problems with them. The more time you spend with a person, the more time you spend with somebody, the more you'll see them as a human being with flaws. Right? But that's what love is, That's the beautiful part of a relationship, is learning to love somebody and those flaws. Because as much as there will be flaws and imperfections, there's also a lot of good things. And that's what love is all about, And if you're saying that after 3 years, if you're having 3-year relationships, there might not necessarily be something wrong with you spiritually. Right? Usually people that struggle spiritually with relationships are people that are dating for like 3 months, 6 months, 2 months, 4 months, 8 months, 1 year, 3 years. If you can hold a relationship down for 3 years, there might not be anything wrong with you spiritually. It might be here and what's going on emotionally. Hence I'm saying, guys, a big part of my job is telling people when there is nothing wrong spiritually. Right? And I don't mind doing that. Okay? Is it possible to self-cleanse, or does one need a healer? But wait, everything that I have spoken about in that slide, you can do yourself. Everything you can do it yourself. You do not need a healer. That's what my sessions are. For those of you that want to self-cleanse that problem or that problem or that problem or that problem, and you don't want to go to a healer, those are the people that come to me. I explain to them, okay, fine. What is the situation? Siyabonga, this is the situation. Fine. Do like this, do like that, do like this, do like that. The people that come to me are those that don't want to go to a healer. Or they don't, or a lot of the times they feel like, Siyabonga, I can't trust the healer because I have a little bit of trust issues or I have a bad experience. I send you a recording so you can follow steps by steps. Mhlambe, I give you 6 steps to do, but you're not going to do all 6 right now. You're going to do 1 now, maybe another 1 2 months later, maybe another 1 3 months later. But in those 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, I give you everything that needs to be done. And I give you the entire process that needs to be done. But then again, if you want to go to a healer, I can also send you to one. On a side note, there's a lot of people that are commenting, but I'll post a video. There's a lot of healers or other healers that are commenting on my videos and saying, look, if you want help, come to me. If you want help, come to me, right? That's fine. Also, there's too many comments for me to like block, cut, delete, whatever, right? If you would like to go to them, that is entirely your prerogative. But just because you found their contact details on my page does not hold me liable for a good or bad experience. So if you do well with them, then that's all them. But at the same time, if things go bad with them, that's all them as well, right? I have a number of healers that I refer people to, and if the referral does not come from my email address at Spirit Animals, then it is not a referral. If it does not come from my inbox, it does not come from my from my email address or it is not a referral. So I just want to make that clear that if you do decide to go with someone, then that's between you and that person, right? Okay. Siya ingane vele after miscarriage uyigeza kanjani? Same way ugeza with the same way you. So a child that comes after a miscarriage, when you have a bucket of igazi nyongomswane to cleanse with, you have a second bucket for umntwana as well. All right. Well, the child has also a bucket of their own. Okay. All right. What if you do not know you had a miscarriage? How can you find out? How can you find out when you consult and they asked if you had an abortion or miscarriage, and you say no? So what is the problem? They see I never asked because I was shocked. What if you don't know if you had a miscarriage, right? Yeah, no, Bonola, this is the second. Bonola, there might not be anything wrong spiritually. Yes, there might not be anything wrong with you spiritually. Mkhulu, ngingazenzela umsebenzi uma ngizale ngembethe. Well, can you do the ritual for yourself if uzale wembethe? The issue is who's going to speak himself, right? You need a location and you need someone to speak for you. Just those two things. You can't burn in paper where you're rented because it's not your home. You can't necessarily also burn in paper for yourself, right? But you can always, like your surname is Sibeko. If you find a Banyaban Baga Sibeko that are willing to do it for you, right? Then you can use Smongo Finance. Same surname, just a different blood. What is a dream? Always dreaming about coffins. Difficult to say, man. Difficult to say. In what context? What's going on when you're seeing the coffin? Are you in the coffins? Is the family member in the coffin? What's going on with the coffins? All right, here's the last question I see. Can you please explain the beginning of spiritual practice? Where does it come from, and why does ancestry practice clash with the Bible? Why some people misleading us with spiritual practice and the Bible? Oof. So this is such a loaded question that one needs a whole webinar on its own. This definitely needs a webinar on its own. But there are also, what I will do is I will reference great, there are people that are very, very knowledgeable when it comes to that, and they'll give you the massive historians, really. The historians. And I must say that to answer your question right now, I'm slightly, I need to do a bit more research myself as well. There's a guy, Ukoza. I had a talk with him. He's a great person. So if you can follow him as well, if you can check out his page, I just know Waga Cause. He's on a roundtable discussion, right? Let me just get his name. Causa. Because he's very, very knowledgeable, and I actually like his work. Mbuso Khoza. So if you can find Google Mbuso Khoza and just watch the podcasts and the interviews, yes, Mbuso Khoza. He gives very, very great detail on some of the things, and he gives very, very great detail. There's another one, but the only problem with him is that there are a lot of his views that I strongly disagree with, particularly on homosexuality. But his account of history and his knowledge is very good. It would be Joshua Mapunga. Joshua Mapunga is also very, very knowledgeable. He focuses predominantly on this kind of question. Again, I do admit that I do feel that when it comes to issues of homosexuality, he does have, I disagree quite strongly with his views on that particular matter. But when it comes to his knowledge on African spirituality, the Bible, and the history, Very, very good. Joshua Mapunga. I'm going to spell it for you here in the comments. Joshua Mapunga. How do you spell Mapunga? I'm not sure, but if you Google will correct it for you. So Joshua Mapunga is also probably good. Okay. Cool. If you don't have history about your ancestors and family members passed on, and you consult and was told that you need to acknowledge Abokoko and slaughter a goat, but things get worse after slaughtering. Okay, so here's the thing, right? If things get worse after slaughtering, it's kind of a good thing, kind of, because it lets you know that you're heading down the wrong track. But it lets you know very early on that you're going down the wrong track. Now, if I have no knowledge of my family history, but I'm slaughtering, chances are there is a big surname problem. I'm probably giving the right package or right offering to the wrong address, i.e., the wrong surname. Okay? So if I were you, I would look into your surname, asking people how were people married. Because most of the time when things get worse after slaughtering, it's because you've offered Islam to the wrong people. Right? Why is it that my husband's family communicate with them through me, but in my dreams, my husband never dreams concerning his family members? Because you are the source of spiritual diversity. The very reason why Idlozi brings women into the family is because you are spiritually different, right? Genetically, you are different. Spiritually, you are different. Mentally, you are different. You did not grow up in the system. Therefore, you have different knowledge, you have different insight. You can see more and they will give you more because you are different, right? It is a good thing. It is a good thing when Idlozi communicates through umakoti, in my opinion, because then that's how you know what's bad, right? And Idlozi loves this. Idlozi loves communicating through the wives instead of the husbands or the husband's family members or the husband themselves, right? You are the diversity that the family needs. You are the diversity that the family needs, and that is why they are communicating through you, because you see things differently. All right. Okay. I once got married by Lobola and it didn't work. We went our separate ways. Some years later, I got married again, but my parents didn't take my Lobola to the first family. I was married. Will that be a problem? Okay, so yes, it will be a problem. You got married by Lobola only. Therefore, that is an incomplete marriage. You still belong to your maiden surname. Okay? Right. You getting married a second time. Amalobolo were not supposed to go to the first family because you weren't married completely. They were supposed to go to your husband's family. So to your family, and that's it. I hope I'm understanding it correctly. Right? Okay. You do, because it was only ilobolo, there is absolutely nothing owed to your husband family, your first husband's family. And I call him first husband because he wasn't really a first husband, because no slaughtering was happening. It was just ilobolo. I hope that helps, that clears it up. Does sleeping with a coin under your pillow really help remember dreams? I have no idea. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. I can't say. I don't know. Maybe someone else, guys in the comments, let me know. Have you tried it? Let me know. Okay, what I will tell you does help. Seawater, right? Steaming, bathing with seawater. River or waterfall water. Steaming, bathing with river or waterfall water, right? Those are free. Okay? Provided you can have access. Those are free things. Free. Okay? What else? Option number 2, which we sell, is umuti for amapopo, papamba, which is for stimulation of dreams and the recollection of dreams. That herb, you steam and bath with it. Where is it? Here it is. So it's about 250 grams, right? 250 grams, 1 tablespoon, steam and bath with it. We sell it for 250, and obviously it also comes with instructions, right? That you can also do that as an option. Or if you don't want a bath or steam with it, you can always get the candle. But the candle is obviously 500. So there's the free options, okay, to recollect your dreams. Seawater, water for water, right? If that doesn't work, you can try the raw herb, which is 250, which we courier to your place, or you can try the candle, which is 500 if you don't like. So depending on your budget, those are your options. The coins, can't say for sure. Actually, I have no idea, none whatsoever. Okay. Nkulu, I was told that ngizale ngembethe, so ngambula ingubo ekhaya komama nasekhaya kababa. After sengenze umsebenzi kwabheda yonke into, umsebenzi, imali, relationships. Yes, no wonder. Okay, so for those of you that don't understand Zulu, Usbiya is saying that he was told was uzale wembethe. Then after that, he did umsebenzi on his mother's side and his father's side. Sibiya, you do umsebenzi on either your mother's side or on either your father's side. If you were conceived in wedlock or out of wedlock, but ubaba wakho paid ilobolo and you were released from your mother's side and you entered your father's side, then your father's side of the family must do that ritual for you. In the event your father's side of the family refuses, then your mother's side can intervene. In the event you are conceived out of wedlock and nothing has been done, it is only your mother's side of the family that can do lomsebenzi for you. The problem is you have two families. What you have done now is you have caused ubangwa ngesikhathi uzame ukulungisa ukuzala wembethe. So now, in addition to the fact that you haven't resolved the issue of ukuzala wembethe, you've added on a second issue of ukubangwa. So before we can even go and do the right thing, kuzomele sigeze for lelo phutha that happened, and then we can go back to what was supposed to happen. Right? I hope that's clear. Okay? Again, guys, a case of right package, wrong addresses. Okay? What does a scorpion mean? Finding them in my house. Please clarify. What comes first? Is Tunya. Okay, what does a scorpion mean? Finding it in my house. Please clarify what comes first. Is Tunya or twice? Scorpion, not sure, but it's not a good thing considering that this is South Africa. I don't know how abundant scorpions are. Yeah. I don't know. Scorpion in your house? Why fighting scorpion? Found a lot of things in my house before as well, but no, I'm not sure. What comes first? Is Tunya or twice? Yo, madoda, avengithandi isithunywa. Yo, madoda, avengithandi isithunywa. Bakwethu, yabona le ndaba yesithunywa. A lot of the times abantu bathi nginesithunywa, it's a church-based gift. Or it's a gift where you're going to heal with umthandazo namanzi. Break the word down, isithunywa. Isithunywa comes from thuma, right? Which is to send or command. Thuma mina, right? Umawam ungithumile to go get ukudla. You are sending and commanding. Isithunywa, in my opinion, is your guardian angel from God that comes and says, okay, fine. Usuqedile ukuthwasa noma usuqedile with your spiritual maturation process. Therefore, sengiyathuma manje to go and work there. I am commanding you to go and work there with your gift. Right? But so people, when they're saying yikhuphulisa isithunywa, how do you elevate that which is spiritually not matured, which has not arrived yet? Right? Isithunywa is, think about it this way, guys. You are a first-year student in med school. You go through first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year. You graduate. Then the Gauteng Department of Health arrives as isithunywa and says, go and work or do your comm service at Baragwana. Go and do your comm service at Soshanguve Hospital. Usuthunyiwe, right? To go work there. But idlozi that is operating through you, that is being groomed and being matured, then wena nedlozi lakho, you are being sent to go operate and work there. Right? And then when people say, no, isithunywa sithi ngishaya ithambo, and then I respond to what isithunywa says. Hawu kanjani ngoba kusebenza isithunywa? Kusebenza idlozi. Kusebenza idlozi. Isithunywa siyathuma. Go work there. Okay, fine, I think you're done. Let's move on to this place. Go work there. Okay, fine, I think you're done. Go work there. You see, that is isithunywa. Isithunywa siyathuma, as igama says. I hope it answers your question. Yeah, no, guys. I mean, I see people dropping the dreams. The issues with the dreams is that we need a back and forth. I need to ask you what happened. How did your father pass away? How was he? There's a lot of information that I need to assist with those dreams. I hope that's clear, right? Okay, let me see. I don't know. Do you mean spiders or scorpions? Yeah, no, good question. Do you mean spiders or scorpions? Dream fighting and eating a lot. The fighting part, it always depends, right? Who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? Right? Fighting part will always depend on who are you fighting. Okay? Who are you fighting? Why are you fighting? Are you winning? The most important thing, there's nothing wrong with dreaming that you're fighting, but are you winning at the end of these fights? Or are you winning mid-fight, right? Because if you're conquering the person that you're fighting with, then that means you're on top of it. You'll be fine. It's only if you're losing this battle that I'd be like, yay, you need to worry a little bit. Dreaming and eating a lot. So dreams of eating, I know you're typically told, oh my gosh, dreams of eating are very problematic, and we are here, so I wake up and vomit and palaza and pray it away. Guys, calm down, right? Dreams of eating are not always a bad thing. Sometimes you dream you're eating KFC, for an example, right? P.S. not a paid ad. So sometimes you dream you're drinking KFC, you're eating KFC, right? Like, why am I dreaming? Why for the past 3 days I'm having a dream I'm eating KFC? Okay, you decide to buy KFC on day 4. Kanti ngesikhathi uzodla KFC that night, ugogo wakho that hasn't come to you in years, usiyafika. Athi ninjani mntanami, I'm here now. What has happened is Leo KFC is impande. Right? Impande can be anything. It is a herb. It is imiti, that has now been ingested into your body and has now been activated by idlozi, and now ugogo wakho can come to you and communicate. Kwesinye isikhathi, you have the dream you're eating KFC, you vomit and you get sick. That is idlozi telling you ukuthi asifuni junk food anymore. No more deep fried chicken. And because you cut the deep fried chicken out, ugogo wakho can now arrive. So kwesinye isikhathi, guys, amaphupho of ukudla can show us what to eat more of and can show us what to eat less of. It doesn't always mean ukuthi sesiyadliswa manje. Right? Okay. I hope that's clear. Everybody, I do apologize for the other questions that have been missed here. I will try to answer them on typing wise, right? Later on this afternoon, but I do need to go because it's 11:13 and I have an 11:15 session now online. So if you do want an online session, please just email info@spiritanimals.co.za. If you would like to alternatively, if you would like to subscribe to join those classes, just go to my page, click on the subscription hub or the subscription tab part, and then go subscribe there. It's only 80 Rand a month. So the reason I intentionally made it very, very cheap, because I don't want it to be expensive to join and get that knowledge. So it's only 80 Rand. And if you do decide to book a session, you get 20% off. So I'm trying to save you money as much as I can. So for those of you, so essentially, guys, the free content, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, right? That's all the free content is all there. Links, download, keep them, watch them at home. There was actually a lady I bumped into in Santon, and she said, Siyabonga, I sorted out my life just by watching your videos, because she said she couldn't afford the sessions, and she also couldn't. She didn't, because I only have so many sessions available every month for pro bono, right? I have pro bono sessions, but there's a certain limited number, and that's only what reason it's limited is because I also shoot as well, and I also work with corporates. So unfortunately it is limited, right? So, and she said that what she did, I think she went to the coffee shop. She was in Santon. She took a taxi to Santon, went to Starbucks for 2 days, and just downloaded all my videos, and she watched, and she fixed herself together, got her things together. So TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the free content, right? One up from that is 80 Rand to join the classes, and then one up from that is the sessions with myself. All right. So I've tried my level best to make sure that we consider everybody and everybody's pocket as spirit animals. All right. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. Have a lovely day. Thokozani.